Hi, everybody. Just so you know, I hope to be back before the end of the class, but I thought I would go through the slideshow with you today, and then when I get back, we can talk about it in class. And those of you at home, I will be here to answer questions at that point. So I just wanted you to know that. I'm going to get going, and the sub will present this for you. All right, so what we're looking at in this unit is what is the structure and organization of Congress? And ultimately, we're going to be comparing the powers of the three branches of the government. So today we're looking specifically at the Senate. So we'll look at the structure, leadership, how lawmaking is done in the Senate, and looking at differences between the House and Senate. And also, just so you all know, I talked about the unit on how a bill becomes a law and how this book didn't do a good job of it. Well, they actually have a complete lesson on it later in the unit. So we will be going over that. It wouldn't be particularly the order that I would do it in normally, but I'll just follow the direction of the book so that if you guys are doing your reading, we're going in order. So that being said, this week you have an Ed puzzle today on the filibuster. We're going to talk a little bit about that in class. And then it's really important that you watch this one so you understand what a filibuster is and how it works. On Tuesday, we're looking at congressional committees and staff, and we're going to do a Kahoot together in class with that one. So you won't have a quiz. It'll just be a Kahoot. And Wednesday, there will be a quiz on the powers of Congress. Once again, something that's really important. Of all the units that we do, understanding how Congress works, I think will really help you guys in understanding our government, because how Congress works at the national level is very similar to what happens at state level assemblies. So pay attention, take good notes, that kind of thing. And then on Thursday, we're looking at checks and balances. We're looking at how our Senate can check the other branches of government. So investigation, oversight, and the president. I'm not sure if we're going to do a quiz on Thursday. We'll talk about it as the week goes on. Okay, so this is something that bears class discussion. So we'll come back to this if hopefully I'll get back in time to be able to present in class. So we'll get back to this at that point. Otherwise, just take a look at it. For those of you at home, take a look at it and just figure out how you would answer the questions below. Okay, so the House compared to the Senate. So if you look at this picture, this is showing a picture of the Senate. The Senate is actually down here. It is definitely divided, and there's a picture in your book. Republicans on one side, Democrats on the other, independents in the middle. Whereas if you look at the House of Representatives, it's much, much bigger and much, much more formal, and they need to be because you have 435 members there versus only 100. And even if you think about in a school and how many people you know, maybe you know about 100 people or know at least who 100 people are in a school, but there's no way to know 435 people if you work in a building. So the Senate is a more intimate setting. All right, so the Senate at work. And I will just, if I was in class, I'd be answering questions for you. But like I said, hopefully I'll be back at the end of class and I can answer some questions for you then. All right, because each state gets equal representation, a majority of senators represent a small minority of people. And why do you think that is? Well, think about when we talked about in Congress, we're in the 2nd Congressional District. So the people in South Central Wisconsin, Madison, Janesville, Monroe, we vote for one person to represent us in the House of Representatives. And that person will actually come back and work with constituents here in the state of Wisconsin on his off time, and then bring back issues that he or she feels is important to the House. Senate has to cover the entire state. So when you think about that, they're not going to hit every small municipality, and they have to work at the bigger picture. So Tammy Baldwin and Ron Johnson are our 2 senators, and they have to represent the entire population of Wisconsin. Okay, The Senate deliberates or formally discusses public policies on specific issues, whereas the House addresses a wide range of issues and topics. So the Senate, when they are bringing a bill, usually bills they can be introduced in either house, but the Senate's focus, it's much more narrow. So that's a little bit different than the House because they can work on bills and anything. Senate rules are more flexible, allowing senators more freedom to express their ideas. So that's the filibuster, and that's what you have a 5-minute Edpuzzle to watch after class. And then I'm just going to click on C-SPAN here. So if you guys want to go to C-SPAN at any point in time, that link is a link to the website, and then they should have where you can watch things live. So up on the top here, if something's going on, you can click on it and actually watch live what's going on in the Senate or the House of Representatives. So I just put that there for your information. Okay. All right, so leadership in the Senate. This is very similar to leadership in the House. And I know that slideshow on the House wasn't quite as explicit, but if anybody wants me to redo that, or if you have questions on leadership in the House, let me know. In the Senate, the vice president is actually the president of the Senate. However, being the vice president, he will only vote if there's a tie. So 50 senators vote one way in a bill and 50 vote another way, he'll come in and break the tie. If the vice president isn't there, the president pro tempore is elected from the majority party, which is Republicans right now. They lead the Senate. And right now it's Chuck Grassley. And those are pictures of Pence and Grassley there. All right. Once again, this is a little thing that we could do if I was in class. This is in your book. Once again, it's in those extra things on the right-hand column when you're in McGraw-Hill. And we can come back to that if I do make it back in time for class. And this is just a mix and match. What does each do? It does mention, you'll see there, the majority leader, the minority leader, and the whip. So the majority leader in the Senate is underneath the president pro tempore, and the majority leader is the leader of the majority party, which right now is Republicans. The minority leader would be the leader of the minority party, Democrats. And whips, there's whips for both majority and the majority, and they help make sure that things go smoothly in the Senate. All right, lawmaking. Senators vote on many issues, and some require a supermajority, or 2/3 of the Senate, for approval. Those are the things that need a supermajority before they can be approved. So international treaties with other countries. Before something, the president might come up with a treaty, and then the Senate votes on that. That's one of those checks and balances. So the president might make a treaty with Russia, but if 2/3 of the majority of the Senate don't agree with it, the treaty can't be made. 2/3 are needed to override a presidential veto. So if a president vetoes a bill, the Senate and the House would need to come together, and 2/3 would have to vote to override that veto. Removing federal officials from the office after they've been impeached by the House. So we had an impeachment trial with the president 2 years ago, a year and a half ago, and the House did vote to impeach the president. So he was impeached, but he wasn't removed from office. That's the Senate's job. Other bills that are on more common issues only need a majority. So they only need 51 votes in order to pass. And like I said, we're going to talk more about that when we talk about how a bill becomes a law. All right, this is a big slide. I know there's a lot on here. I'm going to just read kind of the differences here, or the similarities, and this will be once again something that I can answer questions on at the end of the class today. So House and Senate, any representative can introduce a bill just as any senator can. So if there's something important that they believe that their constituents need, they can introduce a bill. Once the bill is read, it's assigned to a committee. In the Senate, it must move to the floor by unanimous consent. So this is a little bit different. It's not like there's not committees in Senate. There are. But in order for a bill to move to the floor and be voted on, it has to have the whole of the Senate agree on that. If a bill survives committee in the House, it goes on one of many calendars. All bills go on the calendar of general orders in the Senate. So they only have 2 calendars there because there's only 100 people, so it's a little bit easier to organize. Once on the floor, reps can only debate for 5 minutes on a bill. So each representative only gets 5 minutes. There's no limit on the debate in Senate. So Strom Thurmond actually was a senator from, I believe, Kentucky. And during the Civil Rights Movement, he tried to stop the Civil Rights Act by talking for 24 hours so a vote couldn't happen. There's no filibuster in the House, and there is a filibuster in the Senate. And the filibuster can be that talking so that a bill doesn't get voted on, but there's other ways that it can work too. A filibuster, so the people in Senate trying to avoid this longevity of talking about a bill, can be ended by a cloture resolution. That's a vocab word. 60 senators can vote to stop it. So if the minority party is trying to stop a bill from going through, but there's a majority of 60 senators that want it to go, they can stop that filibuster from happening. In the House, for bills, you need a quorum to vote on a bill. So a bill could technically pass with only 110 votes. In the Senate, you need 51. So you need all 100 vote. Well, I guess not all 100 have to vote, but 51 have to vote to pass a bill. So there's some pretty big differences between the House and the Senate. All right, that's the last slide I have for today. I'm going to have you guys go ahead and go to Schoology and watch the little video on the filibuster and do that quick Edpuzzle quiz. And then hopefully I will be back at that time. And if not, use it to catch up on work. Some of you still haven't turned in your summatives from last week, so that would be a good thing to do. And then hopefully I'll be back in time for some questions. Otherwise, pop me an email and I will see you tomorrow.